So the focus of today is the cosine function. Let's start off, yes? No, usually the entire car drive we complain about school. Not students in I don't be like, oh, pain, do you have pain? Because pain's a pain. No, I don't do that. Oh. I'm sure you've never heard that before. Yeah? Never? My maiden name is Stoll, so yeah, I've got a lot of, anyway, like I stole something? Yeah, like that. Like, or Stohel, that's how I spell my, I could give you the historical change of my last name, but we're not going to. Anyway, so yeah, sorry, Payne. Sorry, Payne. Okay, so, yeah, no, teachers talk. Alright, just like we did last time, let's start filling out the behavior table, but this time, instead of filling out the y values, because y is cosine, we are going to be filling out the x values, because x is cosine, right? So on your unit circle, if you were over here at 0, what's the x value? X value is positive 1. And then at pi halves, it's what? 0. And at pi, it's negative 1. And at 3 pi halves, it's 0. So it's kind of following the same pattern, except for the starting spot is different, right? So 1, 0, negative 1, 0. Then 1. Now that's your first full cycle, right? It starts at 1 and ends at 1. And then it repeats. 1, 0, negative 1, 0, 1. As a way of review, y equals a cosine b theta. What does the a stand for? It's the same as the sine. A is the amplitude. It is how high and how low the function goes. It is the stretch. B is the number of cycles between 0 and 2 pi. When b is a larger number, the graph will look very tight because we've got to fit a lot of cycles in between. When b is a fraction, the graph will be really wide. Does that make sense? Because there are not as many cycles to fit in between. The last thing we need to find is what is a period. A period is the horizontal length of one cycle. The notebook test. If I do a notebook test, it will be at the very end of the quarter, and so I'll have you pull out notes 9, 10, and 11, or no, 10, 11, and 12, and then I'll just be like, from unit 10, what's the definition of a period, and then you can find it. Yeah, I might. I know, because some of you don't take notes. Moving on. So let's practice. When my theta is 0, when my theta is 0, what is the x value? 1, right? So the sine value starts at 0. The cosine value starts at 1. Other than that, they look almost exactly the same. And it should look curved. That is the cosine function. If I were to shift this cosine function over just a little bit, one box, it would look like the sine function, right? The cosine starts at 1, cosine starts at 1, the sine function starts at 0. Memorize. The graph of the cosine function is called the cosine curve, and it follows the same rules for determining amplitude and period as the sine curve does. The cosine curve, y equals a cosine b theta, can tell you how the period and amplitude of a sine curve changes. Again, we wrote all of this out, it's in the box. The amplitude is A. B is the number of cycles in the interval from 0 to 2 pi. So B is the number of cycles. 2 pi over B is the period, and that's how long it takes to start and stop. And the 5 points would be the maximum number, so A, then 0, minimum number, negative A, 0, maximum number A. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take some graphs that are already made and just write the function. We need the domain, the period, the range, the the period, the range, and the amplitude of the cosine function. Where does the maximum values occur? Where do the zeros occur? And then we're going to write the function. That's what I did on my home. Yeah, I didn't even answer these questions right out of the homework, so it's okay. So the first thing, let's talk about the domain. The domain of this function is from where to where? Yeah, so let's just call it all real numbers. Is that right? Domain is all real numbers. What's the range? The lowest point is -2. The highest point is 2. The period, again, that's the distance it takes for one cycle to start and then stop. This one starts up at 2, so it needs to end at 2 for one full cycle to start and end, I guess. So how long is this period? Pi, because it starts at 0, ends at pi. The amplitude is 2. Let's do the number of cycles as well. 2, is that okay? So if there's one cycle between 0 and pi, there's got to be 2, even though we don't see the pi here. Where do the maximum and minimum values occur? So this is something we did not do last time. So the maximum values are at where? At 0. And where's the next one? Pi. And then they just keep going, right? Yeah, just the ones on the graph. The minimum values happen where? Pi halves and 3 pi halves. And the zeros happen. Go down much lower, I'm not going to be able to. So the 0 happens at pi fourths, 3 pi fourths, 5 pi fourths, and 7. That's annoying. I think there's only 2 that you have to do that on your homework. So we're going to talk about instructions on your homework in just a minute. Right here. A is 2 because that's talking amplitude. That's how high it goes. And how low it goes. Is that okay? And then B is how many cycles between 0 and 2 pi. Well, 0 is here. 2 pi is right here. I can't quite see the 2 pi, but if one ends on pi, the next one's ending on 2 pi. So there's 2 full cycles.
So will it always be the same?
No. Because it's possible that this one would have only gone up a half and down at a half. And so the B would still be 2, but the amplitude would be 1/2 if it was French like that. So let's do this one. I think you should be able to see here. So what's the domain? All real numbers. What's the range? Got a guess? 2/3? 3/4? What do you think? Amber? Okay, -3/4.
Is domain always one?
Yeah. Because it's not ever stopping, right? It's going to go forever. So we're guessing 3/4, but you just have to estimate. We don't know for sure. It doesn't give an instant equation. What's the period? It starts here. Where does it end? Here? So the period is what? Pi. What does A equal? 3/4. And B equals, here's the 2 pi right here. So how many stops are there between 0 and 2 pi? 2. So this is a case where they would be different, right? Where are the maximum values? maximum at 0, pi, and 2 pi. No, because if it was wider, then the maximum would just be like whatever. So they won't always, but they always will be the same distance apart. Okay, the minimum is at where? Minimum's at pi halves and 3 pi halves. It's a coincidence that it's the same as over there. And then the zeros at, so this would be, let's name the first 4. I don't want to name all of them. So negative pi fourths, what's this one? You know? 3 pi fourths, 4 pi fourths, 5 pi fourths, and then dot, 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 dot. Oh, what miserable. If we were to come up with the equation on part A, I wrote this in, let's get rid of this. If I were writing this equation, it would be y equals A, which is 2, cosine B, which is 2 theta. Or you could say S of theta here. I think that's what I did in the answer key. On part B, if I were writing this function, it would be y equals A, which is 3/4 cosine B 2 theta. Good. Any questions so far? This should feel a lot like last time, so you should get a good amount of review in. And so if you had questions from the sine function, hopefully they're answered today after looking at these swirly little graphs twice, or 2 days. Next page. Now we're going to sketch. Ignore this. There's only one on your homework from last night that I'm okay with you only sketching the first cycle, and that's when the period was 2 pi over 3. That was ugly. So on this one, it's important to figure out what A is. What is it? 1.5. B is 2. So we're going to use this to help me find the period. Do you remember the formula for period? 2 pi over B. So this is 2 pi over what? 2, which is just pi. I need to know that. Why? To know where it starts and stops, right? So when we did the sine function, we first started with the ends, right? But the ends were at 0. On the cosine function, we're still starting with the ends, but where is it going to be? Now it's going to be at the amplitude, which is 1.5. So it's going to start at 1.5, it's going to end at 1.5. Halfway between those, where will it be? So at pi over 2, am I at 0 or am I at the negative amplitude? You're at the negative amplitude. So you do the ends, then you do the middle, which is the negative amplitude, and then halfway between those, you're where? At the 0. So the pattern would be 1.5, 0, negative 1.5, 0. 1.5, negative 1.5, and you keep going. In the positive and negative. Oh, not that one. At no point in your graph should your line cross this. At no point in your graph should your graph cross those 2 lines. Not necessary to mark them, but on the ends make sure it's curving up. It should look like a curve, it shouldn't look like sharp teeth.
So we almost did 2.
Yeah.
So wait, on sine it always starts on 0.
Uh-huh.
But then on cosine it starts at
At amplitude, yeah. Good. Very good. All right, what about part B? What does A equal? A equals negative 1. B equals 1/2. So to find the period, you take what? 2 pi and divide it by 1/2. So if you don't know how to do that by hand, you could do it on your calculator, right? 2 pi, or 2 divided by 0.5. Could you? Yes. It's 4 pi. That means, because if you had 2 bananas and you cut each of those bananas in half, how many pieces would you have? 4. That's why it's 4. So it starts at my amplitude. In this case, what's the amplitude? -1. It ends all the way at 4 pi, except for at 4 pi it's off the grid. That's nice. And that's going to be at -1 as well. So feel like this is 4 pi. Halfway between the 0 and the 4 pi, where are we? 2 pi. And where will my point be? At the positive amplitude. And then halfway between those, you were where? At pi. And where is it on the grid there? 0. So you don't have, again, when b is a fraction, your wave is going to be really loose. What this is saying is that only half of the curve happens between 0 and 2 pi. So that's half the curve, right? Because I need to go back down to -1 in order to complete the whole curve. That's what it would look like. All right, now that we've done a few, any questions? Do you guys like this or do you hate it? Keep going. Not horrible. All right. Okay, so let's write the function here. In order to write the function, what do we need? A equals what? Guess, 0.5? I'm good with 0.5. Make sure to notice if it goes up or down first. If it goes down first, then A would be what? Negative, good. B equals what? How do you figure out what B is? Close. I mean, you can use that. Good. So looking at the 2 pi, 0, 2 pi, how many cycles is that? Just one full cycle. Good. So B is 1. Do we even need to know the period? No. So Y equals A cosine B theta. It's not wrong if you put 1 theta, but we don't usually put 1s because they're cluttery. Yes?
With this one, do you want us to write it as like a function of theta like we did with sine?
It doesn't matter. On my homework I wrote f of theta. It doesn't matter. Yeah, read it.
What is b equal 1?
B equals 1 because that's how many cycles happen between 0 and 2 pi. So it starts up here, goes down, comes back up. That's one full cycle. So on this one, if we look at the 2 pi, so it's 1, 2, 3, B equals 3. What does A equal on number 4? A equals 2, but not just 2, -2. Once you have the A and the B, you're free to finish it off. Because it starts at -2, not +2. So the sine function is always starting in the positive, which means if it starts at the negative, negative. Any other questions? These are good. Yeah. Yeah, hold on. Equals A, -2, cosine 3 theta. Is that what you wanted? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's look. Sine being B, when only a portion of it happens, so on part C it starts here. We don't quite know where it ends, right? But we know that, so where it goes from the top to the 0, how much of it is right here? That's a quarter, right? This is a quarter. So this one, oh, it's hard to see. This one right here is the halfway mark. I guess that's probably better. Is that okay? This right here is on the grid. This is the halfway mark, which means I don't really know what B is yet, but I do know the period now. Hold on. The period for this one's going to be what? If half of the cycle is between 0 and 3 pi, the full cycle will be from 0 to 6 pi. So the period is 6 pi. Is that okay? Now in order to figure out B, is there a formula for the period? Say it again. 2 pi over B. So I can take this 6 pi, set it equal to 2 pi over b. And can I use that? Can I use that to figure out b? Yes, no, yes? Okay, so ignore this. Set up this equation. How do I solve? Yeah. So 6 pi times b equals 2 pi, which means, what does b equal? 1/3? 50 over 6, 1/3. Do we know what a is? A is 1. So you're going to use a portion of it and the idea that the period is 2 pi over b to find what b is. And now that you have that, there's two ways to write your answer. You can say y equals cosine of 1/3 theta. The way I would write it, so you need to be used to this method, is theta over 3. Any questions? Yeah. I know that because this is the first half, right? So if it's because it goes from the positive to the negative amplitude. So if the first half is at 3 pi, it must finish off up here at 6 pi because it's the halfway mark. Anybody else? That was a good question. Thank you, by the way, for like really upping your participation these last 2 days. Okay, so in this one, the amplitude is pi, the period is 2. Assume a is greater than 1. How do we use that information to finish and figure out what a and b are? Sort of. A is what? A is pi, which is not what we're used to seeing, but is that okay? That it goes up to pi and down to pi? That's okay. And the period is 2, so 2 equals what? 2 pi over b. So I don't know b, but I can use the 2 pi over b to figure it out. So 2b equals 2 pi. So what does b equal? Pi. And a is greater than 1, which means a is positive, right? Which we don't really write normally. So using this information, we now have our a and our b. Our function would be y equals a pi cosine b pi theta. A little bit ugly. How are you guys doing? How much more of the next one? This is it? Woo, one more. That means you have almost 45 minutes to get this done. So last one, amplitude is 1.4. Actually, try part E all on your own. If I walk around and you're doing homework and not part E, you're going to get in trouble. I'm going to start on this end, so everyone doing their homework has a chance to stop for a second. Homework? Oh, E, F? So ask questions if you've got them. Start A equals something. So fiber quarters security, right? We also have the formula for it. So then you're going to have I times B. And then multiply on that diagonal, right? And then we'll put that by. Unless you don't know what. Oh, you can multiply that across. You never know. It's like 0 when somebody's like 2 times 3. Oh, you have to do Oh. 3 times 7. Oh yeah. Okay, and so it's b equals 8. Very good. And then b equals 8?
Well, pi over 8 is b, 8, pi over 8. Oh, I see.
Put your finger out, I want to see the answer.
If we're done with that, can we start with
When you're done with that, remember the instruction we need to modify the instruction. Yeah? Yeah, start with the diagram. Finish my recording and all of these parts, whatever. Okay, so, okay, so you got this right here, right? You just cross multiply. So you got, right hand, right? And when you cross multiply the other end, you got sheet, right? So then, don't divide by time, you just divide by time. Because you're trying to get the right stuff, right? Did you get it? Right? Okay. Okay, let me already finish this, then we're done. All right, let's finish this off. So if you're working on your homework, give me 30 more seconds and we're done. So amplitude, A equals 1.4. I don't know what B is, and I need to in order to finish this problem. But if the period is pi over 4, and the formula for a period is what? How do I use that? Cross multiply. I'm going to figure out whatever problems that Austin's working on, and we're crossing those off for tonight. Rude. So then divide by pi. That's how we get B equals 8. So then we use this and this to do what? Y equals 8 cosine 8 theta. All right, I would like to alter the homework just a little. I'll stop recording after this. If you look at the blue packet, which is the first packet, we are keeping the instructions exactly how they are. So in the first packet, you need to do like we did in the notes. I want you to find the I want to find the maximum values, the minimum values, and the zero, and I want you to write the equation. So you don't have to do domain range. You don't even have to find A, B, or the period. You just need to find the zeros and then the equation, which I guess in the equation you do need to find B. You would need to in order to write the equation. So I guess for number 1 and 2 on the blue packet, and 3 and 4, not 3 and 4, just 1 and 2 on the blue packet, you'll need to find A and B in order to write the equation. You need to write the equation, so add that. You need to find the minimums, the maximums, and the zeros. So just like we did at the beginning of the note. For 3 and 4, all you have to do is write the equation, and then nothing else is changed on that packet. On the green packet, we'll open up to that page, there are 10 questions. On number 1 and number 2, all I want you to find is the amplitude. I want you to find A, B, the period, and the equation. So again, number 1 and number 2 on the green packet. I want you to find A, B, the period, and the equation. Does it make more sense today compared to last time, just being able to do it again? Okay, cool. All right, that's everything.